Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds. Thank you so much for joining me for my weekly What Sold video. I have quite a few decent items to share with you today. I will say that my weekend sales were not good, but I don't find that discouraging right now because it's Memorial Day weekend, and I have found that any weekend that is long weekend that is associated with activities, people doing things, going out, I have found like 4th of July and Labor Day, I tend to not have very good sales. When I have good sales on long weekends, it's usually ones where they're in with family, like Thanksgiving, Christmas. I can always tell when people are done with like Thanksgiving dinner because I'll get a ton of sales during then when they're all happy, have eaten a whole bunch, had some drinks maybe, and sit on the couch and, surf eBay. But sales weren't great over the weekend, but sales were pretty decent through the week, and I had quite a few Poshmark and Mercari sales, which is really encouraging, and I'm really hoping it continues. And I've really tried to put the time in lately, so I'm hoping that's what's truly paying off with those platforms, because I had about 10 sales between the two, which I am so happy with. If I just had 10 sales between Poshmark and Mercari every week, I would just be absolutely elated by that. It's just a nice little extra income, and so hopefully that continues. The only other new thing, guys, I was going to share is I hosted my own garage sale this weekend. Oh boy, man, do I not like hosting garage sales. Tell me in the comments if you're a reseller if you like hosting garage sales. There's so much work, and they're exhausting, and they're frustrating, and 95% of the people we talked to were just delightful humans, but 5%, oh my, they are the really intense people that are just, because I am dirt cheap, like when at my garage sales. So when they come with like a pile of items, and I'm like, how about just $5? And then they're like $1. And that's how they haggle when they already have like 10 items. Some people are just really frustrating at garage sales to deal with, and I could see the resellers I know around the area, and most of them are really decent humans, but there's a couple that I was like, when they showed up, because I really want us to make a different name for resellers. I want us to have positive reactions with resellers. I want us to create that in the world, because I know so many people don't think good of resellers. So I want us to change that. I want us to all be kind and to all be decent humans. So, but overall, really enjoyable talking to resellers and people just getting stuff for their families alike. It was fun, like at the end when we were all just done. It was 3 of us doing it, and we just put everything for free. And these weren't terrible items. I mean, there are definitely some items that could be resold. There's items that would be great for decor, different things like that. And when I put it out for free, there were some people that were just so excited and happy, and it's just so fun to see them. So I do enjoy how excited people get when you give them a really good deal for something they're wanting. I do enjoy that. So it's fun. But some of it, oh man, I don't do them more than once a year because it's just a lot. But we did make good money, and so I am very grateful for that, just as a little boost in income. But other than that, guys, let's get started on all of the solds that I have to share with you. I think it's almost 30 different ones I have this week, so we'll try to go a little quickly. Okay, this first one that we have, it's been listed for probably nearly a year, and it's an Art Deco black with blue rhinestone decorative fan hair comb ornament vintage. My mother-in-law and I actually found 3 of these at an estate sale about a year ago, and we paid 50 cents each for them. And it was really nice because it was one of those estate sales where they price everything above retail. So it was really fun to find some valuable items. And the other 2 sold very quickly, but this one just stuck around for quite a while, but it still sold for $50. So 50 cents into $50, and it took a year. I'm fine with that. And those hair combs, guys, if you can find them, they do sell for really good money. This next one is a Fisher-Price Puffalump White Bunny Rabbit Rattle Nylon Plush from 1994. It sold for the full asking of $29.95, I think in a day. And I actually felt like I didn't feel like I underpriced it in any way, and it had a couple of flaws, but someone just really wanted it and they were happy with the price. Full price. I believe I got this at I think at the thrift store for $1 maybe. But either way, I know I got it somewhere for $1 and it sold within like a day of listing it. These have been listed for a couple years, I'd say, and it's vintage brass colored metal Asian fan bookends, 5-inch tall. I took a best offer of $19 because they'd been listed a long time. So when I got that offer, I went, yes, absolutely, please, 100%, I will take that. I think we got them at a half off sale at a thrift store for $2.50. This I got in an online auction win with, I think, 3 or 4 other Disney pins. I have about $2.50 into this one specifically, and it's a Disney 2010 pin stitch St. Patrick's Day limited edition. I ended up just taking a best offer of $38 for it, so a little, definitely under what I had it priced at, but it was $38, and I was really just trying to get momentum of sales, and I was happy with that price from when I had $2.50 into it. And this I just picked up at an estate sale, and it was actually when I was in line. It was a line that was taking a little bit, so I was just kind of looking around at everything that was by the table, and I found this Le Creuset antique chrome finished cork catcher from Williams-Sonoma in 2012, and I bought it for $2 and sold for $21.95 in, I think, about a week of listing, so it's definitely worth it to be standing in that line to find this. Then this has been listed for, I'd say 9 to 10 months, maybe a little more. We got this at an estate sale for $1, and it's a Chinese cinnabar red lacquer carved trinket jewelry box, round, 3 inches. Cinnabar can be very valuable, guys. You do have to be careful. There are a lot of resin replicas, so it is something you do have to be very careful with. But when you can find the real deal, then it sells for really good money. And this is a tiny, I mean, when I say 3 inches, guys, it was super teensy. Let's see if I have a ruler. Yeah, it was very tiny. And then these I picked up at a church rummage sale, I believe for $5. And they're Lewis & Clark rubber waterproof garden outdoor rain shoes, women's size 8. They sold for best offer of $51. Even though I do not like shoes at all, I don't like touching things where other people's feet have been. I am very happy I've started selling those in the last year or so, and I've really started to look more at yard sales this year, as well as my mother-in-law, because she's found some pairs. So it's definitely something I'm glad that I've gotten into, because I have made some good money on shoes this year. But it sold for $51, and they took a couple months to sell. Then here we have a 2022 Sonic the Hedgehog Movie 2 24-inch plush Toy Factory stuffed toy. I took a best offer of $25. Oh no, I got this at St. Vincent's thrift store, I believe for $3, $2 or $3, and it sold for the best offer of $25 and took a couple of months after listing. This I just picked up at these Chilton manuals. I don't know that there's any really big money ones. I might have to look into that. But a lot of them can get you some like decent bread and butter prices that I'm totally happy with. And this is the Chilton Jeep 1945 to 1987 repair and tune-up guide manual Wrangler Scrambler. And it sold for the full price of $11.95 in a couple days. I actually got this for free at the estate sale because it was 98% tools, guy stuff, etc. Guy stuff I say loosely. Anybody can sell it, but stuff that I tend to be what it's called, the guy stuff. And some of that stuff I look at, but when it's tools, I really just don't know a thing about them. I know how to use some of the tools I have, but that is it. And so all the guys, it was all guys, just were rummaging, fighting over things, etc. And then they had a section of all these manuals that said free. So I just rummaged on over there. I sat there for a while picking things out. And oh man, I just remember once they started to realize I was taking a lot, other guys came like running up and they were like breathing down my neck as I was looking, because it was just one section, or I would have shared the area, but I wasn't willing to share it after they started breathing down my neck and kind of hovering over me. But usually I like to move over and share, but it was a tiny area. But besides the point, I got a few decent ones. A lot of them were $10 to $12. I got them for free though, so I'm happy. This I picked up at a thrift store for $2 or $3, and it's a gold tone pewter stand-up easel back photo frame, floral, 3 pictures, vintage. Sold for the full asking actually of $39.95. I couldn't find anything exactly like it, so you go and you do an educated guess is what I did, and I put best offers on, but someone came and bought it at full price. This I just picked up in a lot of brass, and I paid $1 for this one, and it's a brass mallard duck hinged lid trinket box vintage home decor. I ended up just taking a best offer of $21.99. I probably could have got more over time, but I was happy with the offer to get it moving, and it sold in a week or two after listing. This I picked up at a thrift store for $3. Yeah, $3, and it's an Allen and Roth Raja Paprika polyester pull type valance. I pick up this stuff when it's new and it's pretty cheap because it does sell. I bought 3 of these exact same ones that day. I sold 2 in a lot, and then I sold this one by itself. Sold for full asking of $16.95, and easy to ship, and I was happy with that. Here's just a little silverware because it wouldn't be a what sold video without some silverware with me. And it's an Oneida Community Stainless Paul Revere dinner fork 7.5-inch lot of 5, and I took a best offer of $20 for it. And I have about $1 into the lot. On average, I pay about 15 to 20 cents per piece of flatware is what I have tend to found that I would do. So probably about $1 into this lot. A little more flatware. This is Echo Eterna Canoe Muffin Stainless Table Knives Wood Handled lot of 5. Sold for sold for full asking of $18.95, and so then have probably about $1 into this lot. This I just picked up at an estate sale. This was an estate sale that was pretty interesting. So we went to it, and we got there a little bit early, and it was a person that worked for another estate sale company, but she was doing the estate sale for a friend, I believe. And man, did she have some things to say about resellers. That's why it's hard for me to say what I do, because she hated them. I will say that she had just had to deal with a really rude one we heard, so I kind of get where her frustration was coming from. But oh man, she was talking about how much she hated them, and I always find that ironic, because as a person that does estate sales, what are you doing? You're reselling stuff. So why hate your own kind? I mean, I get frustrated by when people are rude, but I don't hate other resellers. So she was very vocal. So me and my partner just played it real cool. A few of the items actually we are keeping for personal use, like lamps and a couple board games. So we weren't totally lying, but some of it definitely were reselling. But I get where she was coming from, because she had to deal with a pretty nasty one before we got there. And I will say, guys, why it pays off to be a really nice, or try your best to be a nice human, because I don't always succeed at doing that. Oh man, this offer decline thing is just going to keep popping up. Just so you guys all know, I got my offer declined on a Raising Cane's plush. You've seen it 50 times now on the screen. But that just made me lose my train of thought. And but she gave us a good deal. So there were some things priced, but she gave us a good deal. I mean, definitely a much better deal than some other people that I was hearing her give. And that's just because we were nice to her. We heard her, we listened to her, we let her rant. That's just what people need sometimes. So it does pay to be a decent person. We still didn't, get away super cheap. It was still an estate sale. But it pays to be nice. You do a lot of the times get better deals. It's the catching flies with honey or something like that. Something about honey and not catching people with vinegar. So it pays to be a nice person. So we definitely got a deal there. But this piece we got for $3, and I was very tempted to keep it, but I actually have a 3,000 piece one that my friends got me that I'll be putting together here soon. So I didn't want to give myself another all brown puzzle to do. And it's a Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey map, 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle, The Shire. Yeah, I just love it. I love Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, etc. But it sold for full asking of $24.95. This I just picked up at a thrift store for 79 cents, and it's Dream Master by Roger Zelazny, science fiction, first Bane print. And you know, these sci-fi books can definitely, the paperbacks can pay to look up, guys. I just ended up taking a best offer for 15. It sold in a day, and I just went, okay, I paid 79 cents, and I'm gonna huck this in a bubble mailer. So I was really happy with that price. And it definitely pays to look up the odd looking science fiction stuff. Oh, this notification's gonna drive me batty. This I actually got from a viewer and friend, and they are True Liberty blue round vegetable 8.5-inch serving bowls, and they sold for the full asking of $32.95. I'd say that they've been listed for maybe a month or two, I think, at this point. So a really nice little sale. And they won't be too terrible to pack. This I just picked up at a thrift store for $6. I recognize this stuff. I picked up a couple other things like this that are the miniatures, 40K, etc., Warhammer. I know that stuff because I had brothers that liked that stuff and painting the miniatures and etc. My brother Cody was exceptionally great at painting those miniatures. So I definitely have some experience with stuff, so knew that this would be decent money. So I paid the $6, and it's Test of Honor Samurai Miniatures Masked Men expansion set by Warlord Games. And sold in less than a day, if I didn't say that. These I picked up at a yard sale where I filled up a giant IKEA bag of stuff. So maybe 50 cents into this. This is Tiny Tagalongs, Mommy, Babies, Tiger, Big Cat, 1995, plush, vintage. Jumper and Jellybean were the babies' names, just because you need to know that in your life. And it sold for full asking of $19.95, and it's so tiny, guys, so tiny. Then this I picked up at a Goodwill, and it sold, or I paid $1.99 at the Goodwill, sold in less than a week or two, and it's Star Fox 64 Nintendo Power Official Player Strategy Guide, and it did have the poster. Look at this Nintendo Power stuff. A lot of them have posters. You need to double check what you have included. You know, I have some Pokemon ones where they have the Pokemon cards. That greatly affects value if you have poster, Pokemon cards, etc. All the extras in there. This is a 1965 official souvenir map, New York World's Fair Time Life Books fold out. I was surprised. This sold for $12, and it sold in a couple days. I picked this up in a pile of ephemera for about, I don't know, 20-25 cents. So it sold for $12 on a best offer. Totally fine with that. This I picked up at an estate sale. I've got a couple bucks into it. It's been listed for probably about a month, and it's an Art Nouveau ornate brass double inkwell letter holder with cherubs, no ink cups. And it sold, I just took a best offer of $38. Just again, guys, I'm just trying to get things a moving and a rumbling through my store. Now we're gonna look at some Mercari and Poshmark. This is a bundle deal that sold on Poshmark, and it was 2 ornaments that I recently picked up. Not gonna see. Sorry, excuse me. My allergies are horrible nowadays. But it's a bundle of 2 ornaments I picked up for, I believe, $1 each at this sale. And it's this jack-o'-lantern and this other jack-o'-lantern. And it sold for $32 on Mercari. So I was very happy with that offer. This also sold on Mercari. This had been listed for 9 to 10 months. And it's, oh, I can't say, Courthouse, Virginia belt buckle, Where Our Nation Reunited, vintage. Sold for $12.60. I got this in that buckle buy I did. I just have a couple little stragglers from that buy. I paid $1 for it roughly. I'm fine with that. It took a long time to sell, but I mean, 9 to 10 months with a belt buckle sitting around really isn't that bad. I would wait a couple years with a belt buckle or jewelry. They're tiny. This I just picked up at an estate sale, the same one I got the Le Creuset at, and it's a All My Friends Are Wild Kona Hawaii souvenir shirt, vintage single stitch XXL. Sold for a best offer of $19 on Mercari, and sold in a couple of days of cross listing it on there. And this is a Rothy's striped canvas beach boat shoulder tote bag, rope handles, cream blue. I picked this up at a Salvation Army for, it's probably like 50 cents to $1. I just took a best offer of 14 on Poshmark. I just picked this up at a St. Vincent's thrift store for $1, and it's a Slimberkins Yak Snuggler Lovey Security Blanket plush animal, sold for a best offer of $22 on Poshmark. Here is a piece of my Radko that I've picked up recently, and it's a Christopher Radko glass ornament Midnight Magic Santa Sleigh reindeer, sold for $32 on Poshmark. I have $1 into this probably, and just if you haven't watched my Christopher Radko video, I did do a whole video on Christopher Radko and all the valuable stuff associated with that name. If you haven't watched it, I will link it down in the description for you if you'd like to check it out. And then we're on to one last sale, and this is a brass Roadrunner figurine, Running Bird solid brass. Oh, I used brass twice. 8-inch metal art vintage, and it sold for a best offer on Poshmark of $27, and I believe I paid $4.99 in a thrift store for it, and it sold in a few weeks. So that's all the sales I'm sharing with you today, guys. I am hoping that next week I will likely either do my profit on a certain amount of items or a full weekly paycheck video for you, one or the other depending on my time available. So I'll get that out next week, and otherwise guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys on the next one.